He utterly hated Lee Marvin. Now we know the reason why. Bob Keeshan, beloved by generations of children as Captain Kangaroo, was a pioneering figure in the history of children's television. Born on June 27, 1927, in Lynbrook, New York, Keeshan grew up in a post-Depression-era America, where his upbringing instilled in him values of hard work, kindness, and the importance of education. After high school, he served in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve during the final stages of World War II, though he never saw combat as the war ended before his deployment. His post-war career trajectory took an unexpected turn into the entertainment industry, a path that would eventually lead him to become one of the most iconic children's television personalities of all time. Keeshan's first foray into the world of children's programming came when he joined the cast of the Howdy Doody show in the late 1940s, playing the mute character Clarabelle the Clown. This role, though seemingly simple, allowed Keeshan to begin understanding the intricacies of engaging young audiences. Keeshan honed his comedic timing and learned how to communicate with children through gestures, facial expressions, and simple kindness. His experience on Howdy Doody laid the groundwork for what would become his life's defining work. In 1955, Keeshan created and starred in Captain Kangaroo, a program that revolutionized children's television by promoting educational content wrapped in entertainment. The character of Captain Kangaroo, with his big pockets and gentle, grandfatherly demeanor, became a comforting and trusted figure for millions of children. Keeshan infused the show with educational messages that emphasized empathy, problem-solving, and cooperation rather than violence or conflict. At a time when television was becoming increasingly fast-paced and commercialized, Captain Kangaroo stood out for its slow, thoughtful pacing and commitment to nurturing children's emotional and intellectual development. The show ran for nearly 30 years, from 1955 to 1984, and during this time, Keeshan became a beloved figure not only in the U.S. but also around the world. His commitment to high-quality children's programming earned him numerous accolades, including multiple Emmy Awards. However, Keeshan's impact extended beyond television. Off-screen, he was a vocal advocate for children's rights and education. He often spoke publicly about the need for responsible children's media and criticized the increasing commercialization of children's programming. He believed that television had a profound responsibility to educate, not just entertain, young minds, and he dedicated much of his post-Captain Kangaroo life to promoting this belief. Keeshan's dedication to children's well-being also extended to his authorship. He wrote several books, including Growing Up Happy, where he shared his philosophies on parenting, education, and the need for fostering creativity in children. He also traveled extensively, giving lectures and engaging with educators, parents, and policymakers about how to create environments that promote children's growth and happiness. Despite his many accomplishments, Keeshan remained humble and dedicated to his mission throughout his life. He often expressed that his work was not about fame or personal glory, but about making a positive difference in the lives of children. Keeshan was deeply concerned about the cultural trends of his time, particularly the rise of materialism and the increasing exposure of young children to inappropriate content on television. He championed the idea that children needed to be nurtured emotionally and intellectually, not just entertained with flashy visuals or fast-paced action. This approach made Captain Kangaroo a timeless classic that resonated across generations, even as television trends evolved. Bob Keeshan, widely beloved for his portrayal of Captain Kangaroo, had a long and distinguished career in children's television. His gentle demeanor, warm personality, and dedication to educating and entertaining children made him a household name for generations. However, behind the scenes, Keeshan harbored a deep and bitter hatred for actor Lee Marvin, a fact that was not widely known during his lifetime but has since come to light. The animosity between the two men was intense, and while many speculated about the source of their feud, the reasons have only recently been fully uncovered. Lee Marvin, a rugged Hollywood actor best known for his tough guy roles in films like The Dirty Dozen and Cat Ballou, could not have been more different from the soft-spoken and kind-hearted Keeshan. Marvin's persona, both on and off-screen, was that of a brash, hard-drinking, and no-nonsense man, while Keeshan devoted his life to creating a safe, nurturing space for children through his television work. The contrast between the two men was stark, and their personalities clashed severely whenever they crossed paths. The origin of their enmity can be traced back to their time in the U.S. Marine Corps during World War II. Both Keishan and Marvin served in the military, but their experiences during the war were vastly different. Marvin, who was awarded the Purple Heart for his service, saw combat and was severely wounded in action. Keishan, on the other hand, enlisted but did not see active combat. This disparity in their military records may have sparked a sense of superiority in Marvin, who allegedly looked down on Keishan for what he considered a less heroic contribution to the war effort. Their feud was further fueled by Marvin's dismissive attitude toward Keishan's post-war career. Marvin, who thrived in Hollywood with his tough guy roles, reportedly mocked Keishan's work in children's television, viewing it as insignificant and unmanly compared to his own film success. Keishan, who took great pride in his work with children and saw it as a noble calling, was deeply offended by Marvin's derision. The disdain Marvin had for Keishan's career in children's entertainment struck a personal chord, as Keishan dedicated himself to shaping young minds and fostering values of kindness, respect, and empathy, qualities Marvin seemed to dismiss entirely. The two men had an infamous encounter at a Hollywood event in the 1960s, where tensions between them boiled over. Marvin, inebriated and loud, reportedly taunted Keishan about his Captain Kangaroo persona, calling it childish nonsense. Keishan, usually calm and composed, was said to have responded with quiet but seething anger, telling Marvin that educating children was more valuable than playing soldiers on screen. Witnesses at the event recalled the moment as one of high drama, with neither man willing to back down. It was clear that Keishan's hatred for Marvin had reached a breaking point, and from that moment on, their relationship was beyond repair. Over the years, Keishan rarely spoke publicly about Marvin, preferring to keep his personal grievances out of the limelight. However, those close to him knew that the animosity never faded. Keishan's quiet disdain for Marvin remained, and though he continued his beloved work on Captain Kangaroo, the bitterness lingered. Marvin, for his part, continued to live life on his own terms, seemingly indifferent to the animosity, as he was never known to apologize or acknowledge the impact of his behavior on others. As time went on, the reasons behind Keishan's hatred became clearer to those who studied their lives. At its core, the feud between Bob Keishan and Lee Marvin represented more than just a personal rivalry. It symbolized a fundamental clash of values. Keishan believed in the power of education, kindness, and the importance of nurturing the next generation, while Marvin embodied a more traditional, rugged, and often toxic masculinity that dismissed such ideals as weakness. The two men's divergent paths and worldviews were bound to collide, and when they did, it led to a deep and lasting animosity that colored their interactions for the rest of their lives. In retrospect, understanding the reasons behind Keishan's hatred of Marvin sheds light on the broader cultural divides of their time, particularly in how different individuals responded to the aftermath of war and their respective roles in entertainment. Keishan's legacy, though touched by this personal conflict, remains largely untarnished. His contributions to children's television are celebrated, while Marvin is remembered for his iconic roles in cinema. However, the bitter feud between these two men serves as a reminder that even those who bring joy to millions can harbor deep, personal grievances hidden from public view. Keishan passed away on January 23, 2004, at the age of 76. His death marked the end of an era for many who had grown up watching Captain Kangaroo and for those who had admired his unwavering commitment to children's education. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry, educational institutions, and from countless individuals whose childhoods had been shaped by the kindness and wisdom of Captain Kangaroo. He left behind not just a legacy of beloved television programming, but also a blueprint for how media can positively influence young viewers.